Welcome back. Here right now at Washington Holmes Technical Center, not too far from downtown Chipley in Washington County, Florida. If you're a regular viewer of the show, you've seen us tout all of the offerings, all of the opportunities afforded right here at the Technical Center, from culinary arts to cosmetology, from bodywork and welding to cybersecurity. There are over 35 degree and certification programs available right here at Washington Holmes Technical Center. Here right now with Jared Graber, a relatively recent graduate of Washington Holmes Technical Center. Jared, you're a great opportunity to talk to somebody and to discuss not just the opportunities that Washington Holmes Technical Center makes available, but the fact that you were able to take your training and put it into real-world effect insofar as getting a technical job, doing exactly that for which you were trained. Now, did you enjoy some of the dual enrollment, the opportunity to enjoy some of the classes here at the same time as high school?
Yes, I did. I enjoyed being able to go to school and come over here and actually do what I wanted to do as a job and a career, and be able to actually, get hands-on physical training with using the programs and the people and working on reading the prints and everything else needed to know in my field. Exactly.
Now, we've had the opportunity to speak to Tanya Taylor, the instructor of that program. The interesting thing about any technical center, certainly in this case Washington Holmes, is that the opportunity, as you point out, for real-world experience, more importantly, being able to use the very expensive software and sometimes hardware that goes along with those specific industries. AutoCAD being a fairly pricey program, but certainly an industry standard and one that no matter where you went to work as a draftsperson, you would certainly be using. So obviously you had that opportunity. Talk a little bit about your experience with Ms. Taylor, and maybe let's start with how you got interested in that program and in drafting in general.
Well, I was very interested in working on vehicles, and I was interested in the military and all their equipment and everything they did. Mainly airplanes and machinery.
How did that translate itself to the drafting part of it? Some guys who are interested in machinery or in vehicles of some kind end up in automotive, where you wanted to find out more about the nuts and bolts part of it, and more importantly, how to design those nuts and bolts, obviously.
Yeah, that's correct. I've worked on several assemblies in class. We'd get sheets and books from our instructor, and she would sort of go over how things went together and how to read the prints. And after a while, it fairly became pretty easy to understand. And she was a great teacher. She went everything step by step with us, and took her time and showed us how to do it.
As part of our effort here, we spend an awful lot of time in the classrooms and certainly see that one-on-one attention that students get here from instructors. But you're right, Ms. Taylor is certainly an example, a sterling example of just that. But I have to say, overall, typically, most of the classrooms have that same attention to detail, taking the time, in the case of each student, to address their weaknesses or strengths, or to be able to gear that progress of the class to them specifically. Stephanie Holly points out that you had an interest in munitions or in some of the military applications. What is it exactly that you're doing now?
Right now I'm working for a company called Ulista. We're based out of Huntsville, but our HQ is in Alaska. Currently we do aviation, and at the moment, though, I'm working with the Navy on an MRAP vehicle. It's an armored VHOL vehicle. It's basically the large vehicle you see roll up over the the IEDs in Iraq and Afghanistan. And when they roll over it, the IED blows up and deflects the explosion out the sides. The VHOL underneath the vehicle deflects it, and hopefully nobody gets hurt inside of the vehicle. We're a private contractor, so we work alongside other contractors as well. We didn't necessarily build the MRAP vehicle, but we are creating models for it, for further testing of it.
Okay. One would hope that eventually we don't need that technology. It can be used for civilian use versus military. Let's talk a little bit about real-world application. It's interesting, almost throughout all of the catalog of classes offered here, that the job placement rate is huge. Cosmetology places 85%. Culinary places about the same. Drafting, talking to Tanya Taylor, says same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, obviously, you are the recipient of the value that Washington Holmes Technical Center offers. If you had any words of advice to someone who's currently in high school, who's looking possibly toward a technical career, doesn't really know that college is where they want to be, maybe they don't feel and they're realistic enough with themselves to know that they don't really have the stick-to-itiveness to go to 4 years of college, and that perhaps they would prefer to be out there and make a little bit of money and figure out where they want to go before they worry about that sort of thing. What would you say to them, and how would you describe what's possible here at Washington Holmes Technical Center?
Well, I would suggest the drafting class that I took. The instructors are great. The knowledge that you learn is very beneficial for whatever job and career you take in any kind of automotive industry or anything to do with mechanical vehicles or just designing anything in general, from kitchenware to the battlefield. You do everything.
Yeah, and again, if you know drafting, you could probably at the drop of a hat tomorrow quit your job and go somewhere to some other city you've never been in and get a decent job because you do have those skills.
Yeah, I'm positive I could, yes.
The interesting thing about Washington Holmes Technical Center is that they do have open enrollment for many of the classes, meaning that someone can come in and start pretty much any time. Was the drafting program like that?
Yes, you could join any time during the year. You'd come right in and they'd set you down with a book and you start off from step one and just work your way through. And that's how easy it is.
And what's really good about that is that you're able to take advantage of it when the opportunity is hot and when you want. In other words, if somebody's ready to make that step, they don't have to wait 6 months for the next semester to start, or they don't have to wait until the following year when the next class starts. They can actually come in. Cosmetology is that way. I know culinary programs that way. Drafting, as you just pointed out, where they have the ability to come in and then work at their own pace. I know that these classes are based on a minimum number of classroom hours and
That's
proficiency
right.
tests, but you can do it at your own pace. And some people take a year and a half to finish a 300-hour course, or some people do it much quicker. How was your level of success? How did you do when you went through the program?
Well, I really enjoyed it. I went through and got all my hours in, and I applied a lot of my skills not only here at school, but also at home. I mean, I made all kinds of stuff, you know.
Have you seen the 3D printer that they now have over there in the drafting program?
Yeah, see, I even thought about investing in one myself, one of the plastic ones.
They're pretty cool. It's pretty amazing. When somebody first said something about a 3D printer, I couldn't figure out what they meant. But obviously it's more of a compositing machine, or it's something that builds small objects, anything that'll fit inside that bin.
Yes, a 3D printer is any kind of a third-dimensional printing device. It prints on, actually only prints on one axis or two. How it works is you have a single plate that lays down, and you have a nozzle just like a printer, and it prints out either plastic or a sand-like material with a glue mixed in. And as it prints out one layer, and then it lowers down one, and then it prints another layer, and it keeps going down and down and down, and it builds up eventually a solid object. Like there's a real difficult machinist trick where you take a aluminum block or steel block and you drill a hole here and drill a hole here and a hole here and on all sides, and you eventually make a sphere. Well, that machine can do that very easily.
It's amazing the level of technology that we have. Unfortunately, lately, within the last few years, the media has put out the fact that American companies don't have access to the adequate number of engineering subsets, personnel, because so many of our students aren't going down that road. To get an engineering degree of any kind takes an awful lot of work, typically more years than a regular 4-year degree, and generally requires graduate school or some other training. A technical center obviously bridges that gap. It gives somebody who's still in high school the ability to have dual enrollment and be able to enjoy some of those prerequisite classes while they're still in high school. Many people graduating with an AA degree at the same time they graduate high school. Now, you took advantage of some of that dual enrollment, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I went to Chipley High School over here, and I also enrolled here. So, I got to finish up my last 2 years of high school while enrolled here for those 2 years as well. So I had a little bit of a head start against the other students.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing stuff. We so often focus on people who are underachievers and some of the programs that give people second chances. Hats off to you as one of the guys who took advantage of that first chance and made best use of it. Ms. Holly points out that you had indicated early on that your interests. Do you feel like you've accomplished your goals, and what are some of those goals that you've yet to accomplish that you're still working on?
Okay. Well, I did achieve my goal as working with the military. Not in the same sense as somebody who would just, join the military, but I'm a contractor. I really enjoy my job. The people are great. All the skills that I learned while I was here, I use every day there. And it's very helpful and beneficial to my job, especially because there's a lot of things from other places and other schools that don't teach the same things that we do here hands-on. A lot of times, if you want to be an engineer, you'll go to a college and they'll teach you a lot of the math and a lot of the other stuff, but you need hands-on work with the program physically and doing some of the jobs that you would do at your workplace.
We have the opportunity, the luxury of being able to deal with a lot of military people, some wounded warriors, some currently present active military, retirees. Our hats are off to them, and we never miss an opportunity to say thanks for their service. But it sounds like some of the work that you're doing is as important to those military efforts as that guy with the M16 trudging down that road in the middle of a battlefield. Mm-hmm. So thank you for your efforts. We appreciate the fact that you had those desires and you fulfilled them, and now you're contributing to the safety of those men and women in uniform in your way. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? What are your goals? What would you like to be doing?
Well, 10 years from now, I'd love to have my own company, an energy company. Maybe some kind of hydro-fluid magnetic dynamic stuff, or who knows?
Well, I find myself about this time in the afternoon running a little bit low on energy myself, so maybe I could use some of that hydromagnetic fluid, whatever it was you said. Yeah. Listen, again, I know we caught you unawares and at the last minute, so thanks so much for taking the time. Thanks more importantly as well to Stephanie Holly and the entire staff here at Washington Holmes Technical Center for doing what they do, recognizing the potential for what they do, more importantly, following through. And it says a lot for you and your love of the school that you would stop by and say hello and share your thoughts about what you've done in the past. So again, congratulations to you. Best of luck going forward. And if you had anything that you would like to add, anything that you'd like to say, look right into the camera and talk to that person who maybe is a little bit lost, maybe in high school, maybe already graduated and bouncing around, not really sure what they want to do, who may be looking for an alternative, may looking to retool and maybe another career. What would you offer to them about what Washington Holmes Technical Center offers?
Well, if you want to create great things and you want it to be out there on the market and for everyone to see and everyone to use, I would take drafting.
And that's a completely unbiased opinion, obviously. Jared, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
Here once again at Washington Holmes Technical Center, just a little ways from downtown Chipley, Florida, in Washington County, Florida, talking all about what the technical center here, the instructors, the staff, the fabulous curriculum, everything that you can find right here at Washington Holmes Technical Center. We say it over and over and over again, but it bears repeating. One life, 1 year, one great career. Check us out at Washington Holmes Technical Center online at whtc.us. See photo galleries, video clips, interviews. If you want to learn more, you can come into the Student Center. We're located right here, easily found right in downtown Chipley. Take an opportunity to find out what Washington Holmes Technical Center can offer you. We'll be right back.